Welcome to Tech Thursday with AT18. Very excited today to have Kyle Nickel, Direct Sales Manager at Boxcast. We're in good hands with him today. He's going to walk us through the Boxcast platform, live streaming solutions for athletic directors. Kyle's been with Boxcast for 6 years, so he knows the program in and out, and is also very aware of everything that's going on across the country with schools and school sports, and very excited to be able to present this solution to athletic directors today because of its importance now and in the very near future for keeping parents and families engaged and excited about school sports in these very uncertain times. So I would like to encourage everyone to use the chat box or the Q&A box to ask any questions. I'm going to field them, and if there's a good time to interject, I will with a question. Otherwise, we're going to leave some time at the end for Kyle to address and answer those questions. I'm going to also put the agenda in the chat box here for all of you. And then other than that, oh, nice. We've got someone from Virginia. So Kyle, without further ado, why don't you walk us through Boxcast?
Thank you, Abigail. That was a great introduction. It's great to be here with all of you. I appreciate you guys taking the time to chat, especially kind of in the midst of just this crazy season that we're all in. I did just hear, that the state of Illinois has canceled fall sports. So obviously, there's a lot of things that are currently kind of in flux, especially when it comes to schools and sports at this time. But I really think that this is going to be a huge home run for a lot of different schools moving forward, whether that be this fall or sometime in the future. I think one thing I was just talking with Abigail about before this is just that, we work with a lot of different organizations. We also work with churches, municipalities, with a lot of different sports teams all over the world. But when kind of COVID first hit back in March, we had over 2,000 different organizations that were reaching out to us to try to start streaming at that moment that something happened. And a lot of them really wished that they had something in place beforehand, that they had practiced, that they had something in place. And I know that streaming will be something that is so big for organizations, particularly schools and for sports moving forward, whether that be this fall or any given time. So having a plan in motion, having something like this, everyone that's here with us today that is watching this, you guys are the ones that are doing the research beforehand. So kudos to you guys. What I'll start with here is just kind of show you a few different ways that Boxcast works. We'll walk through an agenda here. First, I want to show you that there are different ways that people can broadcast or stream. So using the Boxcast platform, we have a mobile app that you can download to any iPhone or iPad. So it's iOS devices only. We have a Boxcaster, and this is what you call an encoder, which is just a fancy word for how do you make video speak computer language so that it can be watched online. That's the Boxcaster, so that connects to a video camera or the Boxcaster Pro. So the app is free. The Boxcaster connects to any maybe cameras you already have or a video switcher. The Boxcaster Pro is our most powerful encoder. It's much more expensive, but it does have the advanced 4K streaming capability as well as HEVC compression. So very, very high tech. The Boxcaster is a one-time cost of $400. The Boxcaster Pro is $3,500. So keep that in mind. But these are kind of different ways in which you can stream your events and kind of bring them into the Boxcast ecosystem for us to be able to kind of, take that stream and send it to as many different places as you can. But these devices are managed from the Boxcast dashboard. So every school would have their own login and password, kind of a cloud-based portal where people would log in and you'd be able to manage all of your content, all of your streams. It's all be managed right here through boxcast.com. And so what we'll do is walk through these different tabs here. We'll kind of do a really high level overview because there's a lot to go through. So if there are questions, I know Abigail is fielding those. We might have some time for those at the end, or we'd be happy to schedule a meeting with each one of you after this if that's something that you were interested in, at least learning about. Maybe it's not for the fall, maybe it's for later on, but we want to make sure that we get your questions answered. So like I said, those pieces of equipment, you can get a box, you can use our mobile app, all of it's managed from here in the dashboard. What you would do is the first tab here on the bottom is our sources tab. So if you did have the app and you had maybe a different encoder you wanted to use or a Boxcast, you kind of just manage those different sources here. Move on to settings. One of the coolest things about Boxcast is that we have this integrations feature so that you guys can actually not only stream to your school website, but you can also stream to an unlimited amount of Facebook pages, YouTube pages, Twitter pages. You can export your recordings to Vimeo. There's so many different places you can stream to. And in addition to all of those social destinations, you can also stream to Roku, Apple TV, Amazon Fire, and we integrate with Chromecast. So really giving your viewers, members of your community, the ability to watch where they want to watch is one of the coolest things. So that's kind of where you'll be able to set it up. Some of those settings underneath preferences, we have some other really cool features that we'll just kind of highlight. Like I talked about before, you can upload an image for Roku, Apple TV, and Amazon Fire, and those apps will automatically be created for you. We have the ability for automated captioning. If you're worried about being ADA compliant, you can have live closed captions on your broadcast. You can add a scoreboard overlay. So what is watching a game without seeing the score? So you can add a scoreboard overlay that can be manual, or we have an add-on feature so that you can actually connect it to your own scoreboard and pull that score right from the scoreboard directly into your live stream. We have the ability for ticketing. So you can do pay-per-view events. You can do donations. So if you wanted to, have people donate and it can connect to your PayPal link for the school or whatever it might be, you guys can have people actually give and kind of contribute to the live stream that way. We have different privacy and security settings as far as password protection, and then kind of some player defaults. And some of these features that I'm listing here might make more sense once we actually see them in action. Just know that they're all available and that these are things that we can offer that you wouldn't get just by streaming to YouTube or Facebook. These are things that really kind of take your stream to the next level as an organization who wants to do this more professionally for their community. Moving from there up to reports, we also give really advanced analytics based on your viewership. So you can see total views, unique viewers. You can see when viewers watched. You can see whether they watched live or recorded. You can see what playback quality, the devices they watched on. And we even have a viewer map here where you can zoom into the city and actually see where people tuned in from. So if you want to check and see if you guys had people in other countries, or if you want to make sure that grandma out in Washington still got to watch her grandson, play ball, whatever it is, all that stuff's available through our analytics page, which is just kind of a really cool way to gauge your reach of your live stream. Media uploads here. So you do have the ability to add an overlay. So if you wanted to add like a logo in the right-hand corner of your broadcast, or a slide that says halftime sponsored by your local Jimmy John's, whatever it might be, you can actually add graphics into your live stream as well, which creates massive sponsorship and monetization opportunities, as well as being able to, put things like player stats on the stream as well. So you can upload those, and I'll show you kind of where those happen here in a minute. You can do pre-event videos, so you can actually upload a commercial kind of before your stream starts, kind of welcoming people to your broadcast, what you guys are doing. Thumbnail images, if you wanted to have an image in the archive and the recording kind of be like a certain thumbnail image, that's where you'd be able to upload those, and we give you templates for those as well. Here's our embed section, so you can kind of change and customize where that video player actually looks on your website, so it matches the branding of your school. So you can change, in the advanced settings here, you can add a countdown timer, you can add that donation feature that we talked about, and you're just going to copy and paste this code into your school's website one time, and then you can always stream there, and you're never going to have to worry about it again. So that's kind of a huge win as well. And then channels, you can actually separate and have a different embedded player on your website for different sports that you do. So we know that right now, maybe not every sport is going to be going on, especially now that we found out that, a lot of fall sports have been canceled, but there are certain things that definitely still will be available. Maybe it's cross country, maybe there's some other sports that are going to be going on. People still care about those sports and they really want to see them, but you can separate them on your website in different places for people to find the exact kind of stream that they're looking for. And so that's kind of how you can kind of separate them, just kind of make it easy. When it comes to scheduling a broadcast using our software, all you have to do is you put in a name in, you can put a description, you can add a preview image, you can add a source. So maybe you pick, the app because it's an away game. There's no internet connection. You really want to use the mobile app in that situation. You can pick the start date, start time, or you can leave. You can come in here and you'll see it just kind of takes the nearest minute from when you started scheduling your event. The end time, you can have an end time on it, or you can leave it blank if you don't know how long your broadcast is going to be. And you can make it recurring. So if every single Thursday night, there's going to be a volleyball game, whatever, a volleyball match, whatever it is, you can actually schedule it out weekly so that every single week, that's scheduled out for you already. You can make it public, you can make it private so that only you can see it. You can do a ticketed event here. And then you can also stream. You pick the channel that it's going into, the destinations, you can connect your Facebook account, your YouTube page, and you'd hit schedule broadcast. So that's kind of how you would schedule an actual event. It's really easy, just kind of scheduling software. The box that we have here actually has no buttons on it. So it actually can turn on and off by itself, which is huge for schools that maybe don't have a lot of tech people. They don't have a lot of students interested in a program like this, that don't have the technological know-how, the resources. They can automate the entire process, which is pretty cool. A couple other things here before we wrap up, and I kind of show you an example of a school that uses us. You can see in the scheduler upcoming broadcasts, past broadcasts, and broadcasts that are currently streaming, so you can always monitor them here as well. But if you take a look at some of these features in here, one of the things that's kind of cool is the overlay feature. So I kind of talked about this a little bit. So if you wanted to add a logo, you can actually add, and this is kind of just showing you kind of like a screen of the checkered box screen is actually showing you what it would look like up here. And you just click apply changes and you can kind of add graphics into your live stream. And then lastly here is our highlight clip features. This is pretty cool. Let's say, for example, there's a huge touchdown and you really want to be able to capture that moment. While a broadcast is happening live, you can hit capture a highlight and pick how many seconds back in time you want to pull out as a highlight. So you can do this live or recorded, but you can actually then, take these highlight clips and share them directly to Twitter, Facebook. You can copy a link for it. You can embed it. You can download it. You can email it to people. And it's just a really easy way to take out segments, the most powerful, the most impactful parts of your events, and be able to share them with people. In addition to that, we also give you diagnostics so you can see how your stream's performing. We give you analytics for the specific event. We let you edit captions here as well, and a couple other features that I won't bore all of you with for the time being because I'm sure there might be a lot of questions already. The last thing I'll show you is an example of a school that uses us. So this is St. Ignatius near Cleveland, Ohio. They have separated their broadcasts by category. They have all of them listed here. They have the thumbnail image behind it. And it's just a really easy way for people to be able to kind of come and see their broadcasts live and recorded. So this is an example of what it would look like. Abigail, I hope that was good. I'm not sure if there's a lot of chats or questions, but would love to help answer any questions that you might have.
Thanks, Kyle. Yeah, no questions yet, but if everyone wants to take an opportunity to ask anything, please do. I do want to mention a couple things related to the partnership with 8 to 18 and Boxcast. Couple things. So Kyle mentioned the overlay option for any sponsors. That's one thing. If as 8 to 18 customers for either scheduling or registration or both, we do have a dedicated team that goes out and actively talks to local businesses and encourages them to be part of the school community network that supports your school. As such, we are happy to include live streaming sponsors and making that part of our larger sponsorship package for those businesses, or you can do it separately. So I know some athletic directors we work with would rather not have to add that to their plate, which is already packed, especially now. So I did want to mention that as another benefit, that this is something that you can monetize and most likely offset the cost of Boxcast quite quickly with that sponsorship option. Additionally, I wanted to mention that Kyle went through some of the areas where you can embed the video, including Facebook and YouTube. And, for 8 to 18, we're coming out with a redesign of the website, which will also have that video embedding capability, so that so that your fans can come to one place to get content and to engage and support your school programs. So I'm really excited about the Boxcast partnership. This is, live streaming is here to stay for schools. I think for those of you that are on this demo, it's a wonderful, it's good on you to be here and to be looking at these options, because even though things are very uncertain right now for the fall, as Kyle said, this is a wonderful way to engage your community and your fans and your parents, especially now. Many of them are, as looking for ways to connect to the school and to engage and to support your programs. So we're really, like I said, thrilled to have Boxcast.
Hey, Abigail, I'm seeing here that there might be some questions about pricing, which I realized we didn't touch on.
Yeah.
Would love to go through that for a second as well, if that's okay.
Yes, please do.
Yeah, sorry about that, Rich and Matthew. I appreciate you guys letting me know that we didn't touch on that. That's a big one, obviously the price. So the price kind of depends on the features. So the hardware, kind of like we talked about earlier, there is a price for that. So the box is $4 for if you want a Boxcaster. The Boxcaster Pro is $3,500, currently out of stock. But if you look at our pricing page here, you'll see that there's different plans based on the features that you need. And so, most of our schools, would be in what I would consider our experience plan for a couple of reasons. It comes with 2 concurrent broadcasts, which is a big deal. If you ever have 2 events that happen at the same time, whether it's 2 sporting events, volleyball and soccer or whatever it might be, you can stream to all these destinations in every plan. You can, the video player is the exact same in every plan. You get the highlight clipping in the higher plan as well. You get, automated captioning in that $200 plan, which is big for schools, and then 60 frames a second, which is also huge for sports. If there's a lot of motion, a lot of movement, you really want to be able to capture that. And so that kind of comes in that $200 a month plan. Some of those privacy features, but really you guys can kind of go through it. It would be a range between $99 and $200 a month. And then we have some add-on features. So if you do want to add, ticketing, that would be an extra $50 a month to use the ticketing feature. So there would be some other add-on features available, the automated scoreboard overlay, which I talked about as well. But just want to make sure you guys pay that. Somewhere between $99, $200 a month is kind of what a lot of people do. So thanks again.
Great. Yeah. And then we have a couple more questions. So if they do it, this is from Aaron Radford. If we do a ticketed event and a person pays to watch the event live, will that person have access to watch the game a second time in a recorded version, or would they need to pay again?
They are able to watch it live. They're also emailed a receipt with a link so they can go back later and watch it again.
Awesome.
Great question.
Very cool. And then Mike McCollum, I think you just touched on this. If you have two events going on at the same time, do you need two Boxcasts or do you need two platforms?
So that, yeah, like Michael, to answer your question, that would be a feature available in our highest plan, that experience plan, to get two that happen at the same time. If you, needed, if you had two video cameras you wanted to use, you would need two Boxcasters. Like, let's say there's a basketball game in the gymnasium and then something going on maybe out at the football field, like you would probably need two boxes, or you could use the app, which is free, in one location and then just one Boxcaster in the other. You just need two different sources to stream from, whatever that looks like for your setup.
And then I think since you mentioned that in the $200 a month package, you can have two concurrent streams. I assume that after that point, if you want 3 or 4, that's something we would talk to you about adding.
Correct. Yes. So that would just be another add-on feature. Each extra concurrent broadcast is an extra $50 a month. But if it's the kind of thing where there's only a few situations a year you might be in that situation, in that kind of predicament, whether you'd have 3 at a time, you'd work with our client managers to come up with something a little bit more special if it didn't happen regularly. A great question.
Yeah. Awesome. What else? Matt Bishop joined a little bit late. For all of you who are on, and we're going to be sending the recording around, so we'll be able to, he was asking about walking through the process of setting it up. So we will send that recording and you can go through it again. And then I'm going to put my contact information in here as well. If you want to connect with Boxcast, that would be the best way, but it may make sense for many of you to just connect with them to talk about your program specifically, since everyone have different requirements and different goals with streaming.
And the other thing is too, Matt, is that we do have live customer support. So we're available 9 a.m. to 9 p.m. 7 days a week. So we have if your school came on board, you'd be assigned an onboarding specialist, a client manager, and have access to our support team. We're onboarding. It's a monthly subscription. We don't succeed unless you guys do. So a big part of that is having somebody to kind of handhold you through those initial broadcasts for sure.
Yeah, and I can attest to Boxcast service and support for this sort of thing. I think, I don't know if any of you have heard of them before, but they're making a big impact and a big splash in just the ease of use, the support, the service, and trying to make this more of a mainstream, easy thing for schools and for other organizations. So I think, Michael McCollum, is there a contract?
Yeah, great question, Michael. So the way that it works is that it is a 12-month commitment, whether you pay monthly or annually, but the first 30 days are a money-back guarantee. So we also have a 2-week free trial on our website before you put any money down. So you can try it out with the mobile app, no limitations during that free trial. So you can try it out for free for a couple weeks. And then in addition, your first 30 days are a money-back guarantee. After that, you would continue on with the rest of that 12-month commitment. A great question.
Cool. All right. Looks like that is it for the questions. Thank you so much for everyone for joining. Kyle, thank you so much for walking us through this. And we've got one more last minute. Rich Stilling is asking if you can explain the difference between each Boxcaster and the Boxcaster Pro again.
Sure. Yeah. So The Broadcaster app is just for iOS devices. So if you wanted to stream using a smartphone, let's say for an example, it's an away game and there's no internet connection, you can stream using the mobile app. The Boxcaster does 1080p, 30 frames a second. Still it's an incredible encoder. Works really well. It's $400 for the Boxcaster. It takes an HDMI input, and the other side of the box connects to an Ethernet cable, so a hardline connection for internet. And there's just 3 little green LED lights on this box light up when you're streaming, when you have an internet connection, when you're broadcasting. The Boxcaster Pro is incredibly powerful. It can do 4K, 60 frames a second. It uses a different compression, which makes you able to stream in really high qualities on less internet connection. It also has preview monitor. You can adjust the audio on the actual broadcast from here. It has more professional audio and video inputs like SDI and XLR inputs. It is like if it is the Cadillac of video streaming, I guess, the Boxcaster Pro. They're currently out of stock. They're $3,500. The Boxcasters we do have available, and they're $400. And most of the schools we work with start with this product here.
Matt Bishop, FHSAA does not allow for video recording or streaming during state series games aside from its own live stream. They don't want their cut from the gate to be eliminated. Is this platform allowable?
So when it comes to FHSAA, something along those lines, their actual state games, that you would have to fall in regulation with I believe whatever FHSAA did allow or not allow for. I'm not sure if maybe Abigail, leave an answer to this question by any chance about whether they would be able to stream alongside of it. To the best of my knowledge, I don't think you would be able to.
I don't have an answer, and I assume the same for the reason, Matt, that you mentioned about their cut.
Right.
Which
I think that's the right answer. So I don't think that you would be able to, but
yeah.
Good question.
Yeah. Rich Silling, can you add commentators to the games?
You can. So we actually have some really cool videos on our YouTube channel that I would definitely check out. Tech tips, pro tips, anything you would need. We have an entire video based on how you would add commentators to a live broadcast and the equipment that you would need to do that. Thing you need to keep in mind is that Boxcast gives you the ability to live stream, but the production and the setup of your video and your audio would fall on each school individually. We give recommendations on equipment that you can purchase. So I can, Rich, if you get Abigail your email, we can definitely get you that video to show you what equipment you would need. You would need, I think, an audio mixer as well as a couple headsets, and you would run that audio mixer into the Boxcaster for that audio. But a lot of people love commentators. It's huge, and it helps making the game, watching the game much more fun, for sure.
And Kyle, would you say it's fair to say that that some might be shocked at how easy this is for students to do and to manage and to run?
Yeah, absolutely. The thing I think that's so huge is that, like I said in the beginning, we've made it easy. We've made it automated to as much as we possibly can, because we know that the thing that messes up the most sometimes is people. So kind of taking the people element out of it and making the broadcast automated. But we have so many schools, I can't even tell you, that actually have like their own AV programs where they actually are the ones that do this. So they have like a broadcasting class, and they use the Boxcaster and they stream their school announcements. They, in addition to all of their sports events, some of them stream their musicals or their rallies. There's so many events that a school does that members of their community want to be part of, that it goes so much further outside of sports, that really having it be student run is just a huge benefit to any organization, to any community, just in general. I think it's so easy to use, and it really is kind of takes things to the next level.
Awesome. Great. Okay, I think with that, we'll wrap up. If you guys have any other questions, I will, oh, all right, Rich got one more. Can you ticket from any device, or is it only for the $199 per month?
So ticketing is an add-on feature, and it's an extra $50 a month to use on top of any plan. So if you wanted it on top of the smallest plan or the highest plan, $200 plan, it would just be an add-on feature that you would have to use. But I think ticket from any device, yes, you can use all three of these devices to ticket. That would just be something that you would set up inside the dashboard when you're scheduling your event. The source wouldn't necessarily be something that would matter in a situation like that. But great question, Rich.
Cool. All right. Thank you so much, Kyle. Really appreciate it. Thanks all for joining. And like I said, we'll follow up with the recording. And you'll also be able to find any Tech Tuesday and Tech Thursday videos and recaps on the 8 to 18 landing page that I'll also share. So thank you so much.
Awesome. Thank you.